Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of the SportFlex Podcast. And I'm happily joined by my guy, Harrogate Town keeper, Melvin Minter. What's good, bro? What's good?
I'm good, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Love for coming on. Anyway, how's life been? Lockdown again. We had Boris yesterday.
Yeah, like just like everyone else, like very privileged to still at elite football to still be going on and stuff compared to other people in terms of walks of life. But like up north has been a lot of snow and icy conditions and stuff. So games have been getting called off. We've also got COVID regulations and bubbles that we have to adhere to as well. So getting tested regularly and stuff. So it's all part of the progress, just adjusting and just grinding really, man.
Yeah, I hear that. Especially being like a professional baller as well. Like, how difficult is it? Like, you have to follow the regulations because any positive test is long for like the whole team because you're training with them. So how has that been?
Yeah, it's tough because like we have to. The football club can only control so much within football, but away from football, there's like certain guidelines that were being given by the football club and by the FA that we have to stick to in terms of bubbles and in terms of the people that we align ourselves with outside of football. So it is tough. It's something new for everyone, and just making sure that we stay towards the strict regulations as possible. And if one person has it, then it affects the whole team. So so far so good. Our squad's been good without having it, and we did get tested yesterday and today. And just gonna wait and see what happens tomorrow in terms of the results coming back.
Yeah, all the best of the results. No, because I heard today the Premier League was saying they got the most ever positive tests.
It's crazy, man. So it's tough because like the Premier League are obviously the EFL follow the Premier League sort of model, but the Premier League are having to suspend games and postpone games, like it just leaves a catalogue of games towards the end of the season where games would have to be fulfilled at some point. And then obviously England have got the Euros in the summer as well, so there is so much games that needs to be done by June, July. It's not going to be like last season where the season went into like June, July and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but you just have to take it as it comes, really.
And also, just finally, has it been easy to keep fit? Because given that gyms are closed, like, have you had to do your own home workouts, buy equipment?
Yeah. It's something that I've been regularly doing anyways, but it's been a bit more tougher because certain facilities that are there, you could use them and stuff, but where stuff have been closed and stuff, you're gonna have to improvise, whether it's your garden or going out on the field or whatever as well. So it has been tough finding certain places to do certain things, but that's life for you, man. Like, adversity happens, like difficulties happen. You have to find a way throughout that sort of difficulty, man. You can't make excuses, man. So it's just out of our control, and it just is what it is at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, and also, how like difficult is the process from playing with fans to without fans? Has it been difficult to stay like concentrated? I know as a keeper as well, like, man are cussing you behind the goal. Like, you don't get that no more, innit? You're just like, oh, it's best man.
Yeah, like it's crazy, man. Like the atmosphere is so dead. Every game feels like a pre-season game. Like it feels like there's no sort of viable atmosphere. Like recently we was in tier 3, so Harrogate were allowed supporters for maybe about a week or two, and a few away games that we had, the areas that we went to, whatever tiers that were in that government guideline of tier 3 or below, they had some supporters as well. So like it makes a big difference, because I think football without supporters is really nothing. Like, it's the supporters that contribute a lot to it, and they support you and build you up and stuff. So like, I think the concentration side of the spectrum is different for every player. Me as a goalkeeper, you need to be switched on for 95 minutes regardless whether they're supporters or not, because you're always one situation away from being involved within the game. So like, for me personally, I don't think that's affecting my concentration. It's more of having an atmosphere and a vibe and stuff. Like, that's what I've missed. Like, it's just something that you've grown up with, and then when it's been taken away from you, it's like damn, like this is so different. So yeah, it's crazy, man.
I hear that. But yeah, let's throw it back to like back when you were young, just sport. Like, tell us about your upbringing, how you grew up, how you got into football and stuff like that.
So I started playing football from the age of, I believe it was 7 years of age. So that was when I was in, I think that's year 3, 6 or 7 was when I was in year 3.
Yeah.
And my grandmother introduced me to football, and she just said to me that I was like obsessed with like catching footballs at home and stuff. And she took me to like an after school club after school, and it was like I was raised in Tottenham, so Tottenham, North London. So there before the new Tottenham Stadium that's there now, it used to be White Hart Lane, yeah.
Yeah.
And I went to the primary school opposite the stadium called St. Francis de Sales, and then next to the primary school opposite the stadium, because the primary school's still there now, is a primary school, and it's a primary school, yeah, not secondary school, it's a primary school, and next to it there's like a footballing community centre next to it, and that's where my grandmother introduced me into football, and from there, yeah, things just took off, man.
Yeah. When she introduced you, did you enjoy it? When did you realize you was good at it? First of all,
that's a good question. The first time I went to it, it was more of me just going in goal and just playing for the fun of it. And then I think I realized when I was good at football was when I got to about, I think, year 6. When I was in year 6 and I was about to leave primary school to transition to secondary school, and every single day playing in the playground or every single day playing after school with my friends, I was kind of standing out, if that makes sense, innit? It wasn't, at that time, like, while you're young, like year 6 is about 10 years of age, 9, I think it's about 10 years of age. So like, you're just going with the flow. You're just playing, really. Like I wasn't playing Sunday league or for any team at that time. All I was doing was going after school club football, playing after school at school, and then that was it, really. So yeah, that's when I started to realize, like, within my sort of community and around the people that I was playing with, I was kind of standing out. So that was the first sort of signs.
No, I hear that. Also, was you always a goalkeeper? Was a thing where it's like, because when I was in school, it's like the dead players go in it. I'm not saying you were a dead baller in it, but was the thing where it's like, you know what? Let me just go in goal. Was it like you get in goal? You're not playing.
No, seriously, it was a thing that that's all I wanted to. I don't know, like I always had a buzz of making saves. It wasn't even when my grandmother told me I used to catch the ball at home and stuff, like when I actually got into the football environment, something within me was more like obsessed of just making saves, like from something that, because I'd watched football from a young age and I've seen the goalkeepers that I had obviously inspired me a lot. Like I was just more of like just making saves. So I was a goalkeeper from young, but the weird thing is I was comfortable with the ball at my feet. So I think where I'd grown up playing in the school playground and playing with friends after school, I think I was probably like one of the very few goalkeepers within that community. So when we was doing stuff like keep ball or doing 5v5 and there was like rush goalie, I couldn't actually go in goal all the time. So I was kind of forced to play outfield at the same time. But I knew deep down naturally I was a goalkeeper and that's what I wanted to do. But weirdly, like I was comfortable with the ball at my feet, and now in my generation as a modern day goalkeeper, it's a requirement. So it's like it's almost as if it was a hand-in-hand thing in my development, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you basically saw the future ahead of the game.
I think God's just put me on that path, man. That's what I think. That's what I think, man.
Also, who did you look up to, as like you were saying before, you had people inspired you? Who was it like you thought, oh, I want to be like him?
Goalkeepers that I looked up to, the 3 goalkeepers I looked up to in the Premier League was, I support Chelsea. So when I was very young, I remember Petr Cech signing for Chelsea when he was young, like 21, 22. That's very young for a goalkeeper in goalkeeping terms. Peter Schmeichel as well. He was a legend at Manchester United, won everything at Manchester United. Those were the main 2 that I looked up to. And then also another goalkeeper, 2 other goalkeepers that didn't play in the Premier League that I looked up to was Buffon, who's still playing now, 42 years of age, who I believe is the best goalkeeper of his generation, in my opinion. And then Dida, the Brazilian goalkeeper that won the Champions League with AC Milan. He won the World Cup with Brazil. So those were the 4 type of goalkeepers I looked up to. And then now, in terms of modern day goalkeeper that I look up to, is Edison. That's at Man City, because he's the type of modern day goalkeeper that's out there, and then he's also good at keeping the ball out of the net at the same time. So yeah, those were the goalkeepers I kind of modeled my game on, watched very closely, and they inspired me a lot.
How about my Mama Almunia?
Almunia, I thought Almunia had a decent career, and he was all right. It took him quite a while to get into, because I think at the time when Almunia was at Arsenal, he had Jens Lehmann that he was competing with, and Jens Lehmann was, Jens Lehmann done very, very well at Arsenal, and there was a period where he had the longest clean sheets in I think in the Premier League sort of time before Petr Cech took over and Van der Sar took over. But yeah, I thought Almunia had a decent career, to be fair. Like, it wasn't one of my favourites, but he was like a goalkeeper that I looked up, and every type of goalkeeper that I looked at very closely, I always tried to see like I'd always try to take like something out of their game to try and pull it into my own game. So like, whether it's their handling, their taking of crosses, their communication, their effectiveness, like that's pretty much what it was, man.
Okay. So tell us about like when you was at school and then transitioning from like the teams you played for. So who was like the first team you proper played for as a goalkeeper?
So when I got to year 7, when I went to secondary school, the first team I played for was a team called Edmonton Rangers. So where I was living in Tottenham, I was also living in Edmonton as well. So Edmonton Rangers was the actual first team that I played for, and that was a Sunday League grassroots team, and I played for them for about 3 years. And at year 7, I tried for my school team, and I didn't get into my school team as a goalkeeper because the standard of our school team was very high. Like the goalkeepers, in terms of quality, there was like 3 or 4 goalkeepers that were ahead of me in their development, if that makes sense. So that obviously forced me to work harder away from school. And I got into the school team in year 8 as an outfielder because I was very decent with my feet as a striker, weirdly enough. But on a Sunday, I was playing in goal for Edmonton Rangers, and it wasn't until year 11 that I got into the school team as a goalkeeper. So that weird transition of outfield in goal and stuff, I always knew deep down I was a goalkeeper. But like that early time of playing at Edmonton Rangers, like every Sunday in goal, just put me on that path, really.
Okay, also tell us about, because you know when you get to a certain age, like 15, 16, like the end of year 11, it's a thing where it's like, I'm going to go for ball all out, or let me go college, then go uni, the traditional way. How did you come to that decision, and did you always believe you'd like make it in a sense?
Someone asked me this the other day. Like, so the process was when I got to year 11 and we done mock exams. We had like careers advisors coming into the schools and stuff. And these times, a career advisor said to me, like, Melvin, like, what do you want to do at the next stage of your life? You're going to finish school in about 6 months' time, etc. What do you want to do? And prior to that, I'd had conversations with my mum, like, the aim was to get into a professional academy and then get into that pathway of obviously working my way up through professional football. So I said that to the career advisor, and the career advisor said that, what team do you play for now? And back then I was playing for a team called Interwood FC. They're based in East London. They were based in East London. I think they're still based in East London now, and they're based next to Arsenal's academy training ground in East. So I was playing for them. That was the Sunday League time and Sunday League team. And the career advisor said to me, like, if you want to become a professional footballer, you're gonna have to get into a professional football club, get into an academy, get a scholarship, earn a professional contract, and that's the steps. So like after that, funnily enough, I went to Oxford United. I think in between that period, I was trialing a lot of professional football clubs because the team Interwood, the management side, had a lot of strong links and contacts with professional football clubs, and a few of the boys within my age group and the age group below were signing at professional football clubs, getting scholarships and stuff. So I remember like being at school, going on day release, getting day release to go on trial like QPR, Barnet and stuff, never earned a contract and stuff, and then got towards the end of year 11, GCSEs, and I was at Oxford United, went on trial there for a while and ended up signing there just as I'd done my GCSE. So thankfully enough, like I just feel like everything happens for a reason, and it was all part of God's divine, really, and that was it, really. I'd never actually been at a professional football club signed up until 16 when I was doing my GCSEs, leaving school, and that was probably the most critical time because the career advisor said to me that if you haven't signed at a professional football club by the time you finish school, or just after you finish school before the next academic year, you'd have to go to college or you'd have to further your education doing something else. And that's what my mom said to me as well. So there was a little bit of pressure on me, but it was kind of pressure that I used to thrive. And it's like, if this is something that I want to do, I'm gonna have to make a bit more sacrifices, put a bit more time into it, see what happens. And thankfully, it just worked out for me, man.
Yeah, because just what you're saying, like it was pretty late when you got signed to Oxford, innit? And when you think
Yeah,
about, like I spoke to Terrell Thomas, like last episode, he was saying he was signed from when he was, I think it was 8, and to
yeah,
get
he was
us
at
like,
Charlton.
yeah,
Yeah, he was at Charlton for years. Yeah.
so to get us at 16, like it's testament to you, like to keep on believing. Like how
Yeah.
difficult is it when you go on these trials and like you get the no, and it's like QPR, like everyone knows QPR. It's like, rah, like I was so close. Like, what are you thinking? No, I've done this, you know.
At times when I was younger, obviously my mental capacity isn't as strong as it is now. But when I was younger, the setbacks and the discouragement hit me a lot. And I thank God that I had a good support network around me in terms of family, friends, and football coaches that I was around and stuff that kept pushing me, kept believing in me, kept supporting in me. And that kind of helped me on my journey, really. So without a support network, sometimes people see more potential in you than you see in yourself at that time. And yeah, getting them setbacks and them knockbacks were very discouraging because you think you've given it your all, you've gone to a place and showcased yourself in the best possible way and it hasn't worked out. And yeah, like thankfully those no's kind of built up that self-esteem, that determination, that substance within myself to be able to deal with like the failures and the rejection, and just helped me to I used it to drive me forward rather than take a step back, if that makes sense. So yeah, man.
So after you just got your Oxford contract, like what happened after that?
So the basis was I was signed for the under 17 side and I was going to play for the youth team as well. So I was playing for the youth team under 17 side, and they gave me a year's deal. And the contract was if I had done well after the year, I'll be playing. I mean, I'll get a 2-year scholarship after that. So it was an extended schoolboy contract. So played for under 17s, played for the youth team and stuff. Was on a bench for a few like reserve games and stuff. Done decent and didn't earn an extended contract after that. So that was very discouraging because that was the first time I'd left home. I lived in Oxford because we trained in Oxford, so I had to live in digs and stuff. I had to live with another family at 16. So that was the first time I had to really, really build my independence of living away from home and then training every single day as well. That's something I hadn't done as well. So that experience was one of the best experiences I'd had in my youthful career. And when I got the decision that I was getting released, that was very, very painful. That was probably one of the biggest failures that I'd had in my life at that point. And that really introduced me into the real world. And like, I think when I was young, I had a lot of ego. I was very narcissistic. I was like talent. I worked hard, but I think when I've worked very, very hard. But when I got to Oxford United, I kind of took steps back. I wasn't doing extra work. I was taking it for granted, if that makes sense. And I thought all I had to do was just work until I got there. And then once I got there, all of that work wasn't correlating to sustain it. So those were the kind of eye-opening life experiences that I probably needed. And yeah, like it's helped me on my journey, I can't lie.
Do you think you got comfortable when you was at Oxford thinking, yeah, I'm definitely gonna,
Yeah, man, because everything's given to you, everything's put on a plate for you. While you're young, you're still naive as well. So yeah, I took it for granted, I can't lie. But looking back on it now, I definitely took it for granted.
So after that's happened now, you're how old at this age, by the way?
17.
17. So are you thinking, oh, it's getting a bit late? Because me, when I was like 18, I was like, listen, the ball career is over for me. Now, I wasn't a great baller, but I was like, I'm a bit old now. Like, but you look at players like Vardy, Premier League 27. So are you looking at people thinking it's a 50-50 whether I'm still going to pursue football or let me just continue, see where I go?
Back then when I was 17, so I'm 25 now, so that was 8 years ago. Back then when I was 17, back in 2012, there wasn't a lot of examples of players making it late and going from obviously non-league football into professional football. I think Vardy's story was probably after that, maybe in 2012, 2013. But Ian Wright was kind of like the biggest name in that sort of time. So there wasn't a lot of examples. I tried that a lot of professional football clubs didn't get signed elsewhere. And to be fair, like I don't know, like I think I think football was always for me. Like I just think it's just a divine gift that God's given me, and it wasn't something that I was gonna just give up on. It was like, this is where I'm at in terms of this stage of my life. This is where I want to be. The in-between part is where I need to work and then make sure I have the mental capacity to, when I get to where I want to get to, I sustain it, because that's what I think is one of the hardest things in life that's very underrated, sustaining success. Anybody can get a contract. Anybody can, in inverted commas, make it. Anybody can go viral, but it's like the people that stay at the top or do well are the ones that consistently keep going after they've got that contract and etc. Yeah. So that Oxford experience was a good experience. It was something that I needed. And it was like, I was kind of like the boy from the ends that had left the ends and come back. So it's like all of that pressure and all of that stigma attached as well, like that hurt a lot. And I feel like I needed to use that to drive me forward. And I didn't sign for any professional football club after that. I went to a side called Hayes and Yedden. They were back then. They were in the. They used to. Now it's called the National League system and non-league, but it used to be called the Conference. Yeah, so they were in the Conference South. So they were just. You got Conference Prem, Conference South. They were in the Conference South, and I played for the under-18s for a season. I played for the reserves as well, and then because I had done very, very well for them, I got called up for England schoolboys under 19s. Wow. And that gave me a lot of exposure. We went to Italy for a tournament and played against different countries and stuff. And Brentford were looking at me, and back then Brentford were in League One. So after that, Brentford signed me after that, and I was like, this was something that I was aspiring for, and I've been given an opportunity, so now I need to take it. So that was it. I signed at Brentford after that.
Oh, just to interrupt you, who was at Brentford? Any recognisable names were at Brentford at the time? Or England schoolboys?
England schoolboys, no. Most of the players now playing non-league. I don't think you would know any of the players. Brentford, I'm just trying to think of a standout name. David Button was there. He's now at West Brom, but he's the second choice at West Brom, goalkeeper. Simon Moore was there as well. Yeah, he's a goalkeeper that's at Sheffield United as well. He's like second or third choice there. I'm just trying to think of players. Most of their players are still playing in the Championship and League One. They had players like Adam Forshaw. He's at Middlesbrough now. He's playing he's playing at Middlesbrough in the Champ. But we had like Chuba Akpom come along from Arsenal as well. Chuba used to play for Arsenal. But most of the players that when I was there, they're playing in like League One, Championship now. So there's not big, well-known players, if that makes sense. So that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, but still a good level though. Still a good level.
Oh yeah, no. We had James. Yeah, no, we had James Tarkowski that plays for Burnley. He come as well. You know James, the centre half that plays for Burnley. Yeah. He's probably the player that's probably gone. He's played for England as well since I've been at Brentford, and then Alfie Mawson as well. He played for Swansea and Fulham in the Premier League, but he's currently at Bristol City on loan. But I think James Tarkowski is probably the standout name, if that makes sense, from when I was at Brentford. So yeah.
Okay, so after you've done this now, how does the Harrogate Town move come along?
So last season, I was playing for Kings Langley and done very, very well. And alongside playing for Kings Langley, I featured on Soccer AM on Sky Sports on TV, coming up against celebrities, ex-professionals, professionals, etc. And that gave me a lot of exposure. And where that gave me a lot of exposure, people were kind of paying a bit more attention to my performances at Kings Langley. And done very, very well for Kings Langley. And I was actually on trial at Stevenage in March before the lockdown. So I was on trial there for 2 weeks. And long story short, there were discussions where they were going to sign me. And then lockdown kicked in. And then for some strange reason, after the lockdown, they decided to go for other targets, which was very discouraging. And I wasn't quite sure whether I was going to be given another opportunity by another professional football club. So it literally 2 weeks before the EFL, the Football League started, there was 3 options on the table in terms of professional football clubs to go to. 2 in the National League Premier that are full-time clubs, and then Harrogate Town. Harrogate Town was the best option out of the three. They needed a goalkeeper, and I went there, trained, and done very, very well. And initially, they offered me a short-term contract, and then a month later, I'd been given a deal until the end of the season. So that's pretty much how the where's the screen on black? Oh no,
yes,
yeah, that's pretty much how the move come about, man. Crazy situation.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then also Harrogate is where like Yorkshire, isn't it? When I was searching up.
Yeah, it's up north is very, very posh, man.
So as you're at Harrogate Town, you then get loaned to Darlington on loan this season. That's right.
Yeah. So I was on loan at Darlington for 2 months, and I played 6 games, kept 4 clean sheets.
Solid.
Only conceded 3 in the 6 games. One of the games I saved the penalty within 90 minutes, and then saved another penalty in the penalty shootout in a cup game. So done very, very well. And my loan got cut short by Harrogate, and they recalled me back. Was it last week? Yeah, last week. And been back since. So I was involved in a game last week that we had against Carlisle. I was on a bench, and the game got abandoned because of the weather and stuff. So the club's turned around and said to me that I'm involved in the squad for the rest of the season, and it's not down to me to keep my head down, keep doing what I've done well at Darlington. And like when the opportunity is there, it's down to me to take it, man.
Yeah, definitely. And also, when I was doing some research, I saw like when you got recalled back to Harrogate, the Darlington fans, they were angry. They were like, "Oh, stay, man, don't leave, bro. How can you leave?"
Yeah. Like, it's crazy. My DMs were full. Like they were saying stuff like, "Oh, can you speak to the management so we can put in a bid for you and stuff." Like I really appreciate all of their warm messages and stuff, because when I went there, they welcomed me, and they told me that they had a history of a lot of goalkeepers that had gone on loan there and gone on to do big things. So I think Jordan Pickford's been on loan there. Another goalkeeper called Dave. Yeah, they were telling me there's a lot of goalkeepers that's been on loan there that's gone on to do big things in the game. Jordan Pickford was one. Another goalkeeper called David Stockdale. I think he's at Wickham in the Championship at the moment, of Birmingham. I think he's at Wickham. And a few other goalkeepers as well that's gone on to do well. So these goalkeepers were all goalkeepers that come on loan from professional football clubs and then gone back to their parent clubs and done well. So Darlington had a history of goalkeepers that had done that. And where they put me in that bracket, I was just very, very grateful for their support and stuff. And it was an amazing sort of opportunity. I didn't play as much as I would have liked, because like I only played half of the games. I was only there for 12 games, and I played 6 of the games. But when I went there initially, their goalkeeper had been doing well, and the manager just decided not to take him out, which was like, as life as a goalkeeper, that's what it is. I'm very fortunate at my age. I've played a lot of games at my age, but there's been a lot of times where I haven't played and stuff. So as a goalkeeper, you're either in or you're out. So when you're out, you are supportive of the other goalkeeper. You have to stay ready for your chance, because when your chance comes, you have to take it, and there's no excuses. So thankfully I did. And that was a good experience. And we move on from that, man.
By the grace of God, you will be at Pickford as well. By the grace
Amen.
of God.
Amen. That's the aim, man. The aim is to go as far as I can for as long as I can. Like when I look at examples like the Buffons, the Van der Sars, Petr Cech's even come back at 38. Goalkeepers sort of expand is quite different. So we can play until we're 40 years of age. So that's the aim for me. I'm 25 now. The aim is to be in the game for the next 15 years and aims to go as far as I possibly can. So by God's grace, like, just got to keep grinding, man.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask, like, as a goalkeeper, because there's only one spot, and it's probably the most techie situation, like, and plus, in the windy week, you're training with the keeper, you're basically beefing. You get, it's like, we're going for the same spot. But is it all like, still my bro, real talk, I'm trying to do my thing, get ahead of you. Like, how was that?
It's an interesting one, because like we kind of call it like the goalkeepers union. Like goalkeeping is a special. I think it's a specialist position. I think it's the hardest position on the pitch personally, and I feel like only goalkeepers can understand what other goalkeepers go through in inverted commas. And it's like we're all competing for one spot, but it's like it's more friendly competition. Like if someone else is playing you're supporting them, you're giving them the best sort of support. But it's like, at the end of the day, you need to think about what's best for you. And it's like, you need to make sure you outdo them away from the training ground or etc. So it's like, when you get your chance, you have to stay in. So it's like, it's not, I'm not going to lie, it's not, from experiences that I can only speak for experiences that I've had, it's not very nasty and vile and stuff. It's more of like a supportive type of network. And it's like, if I'm playing, I'll be supported if I'm playing, and if they're playing, I'll support them the same way. Like, the way I am is, I don't wish the worst on anyone, and I always wish the best for everyone. And I just feel like, when it's down to me and for me to have my opportunity, I know that I'll be ready to take it. But when it's you have to make sure you take it, because if you don't, I'm going to take it. So it's like, I'm more supportive. I wish the best for you. I don't wish the worst on anyone. And it's like, I just have to stay ready. And it's more of like, just staying positive at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, you have to keep things in perspective. Nothing lasts forever, like the good times and the bad times. So just because you might sit on the bench for 20 games or for 5 games, like, you're only one performance away from getting an opportunity, or one suspension, or so. Like, football, things in life like change very rapidly. So you always have to have things in perspective and just be a bit supportive and be ready more than anything else, man.
And I think with goalkeepers as well, it's all about taking your opportunity, because you never know when you're going to play again, especially if you're not the done daddy number one, where it's like, if you make a mistake, you're going to be in goal next game. If it's a close competition as well. Yeah.
It's like, with goalkeepers, it's a hard one, because it's like, it's not like a goalkeeper. Like, when you're training and stuff, you can't if you're not playing, then if you can't always out-train the other goalkeeper, because if the other goalkeeper's performing in matches, the manager's not going to change it. It's if he's not performing in matches and then you're out-training him and you're doing better than him, then you'll get given an opportunity. So at the end of the day, you've got to prepare yourself as much as you possibly can. And it's not like a player's position where you can have 3 or 4 defenders, or 5 or 6 strikers, or 7 or 8 midfielders, and it's like, you can come on the pitch and impact the game and earn your opportunity. It's more of a waiting thing as a goalkeeper. But at the end of the day, it's what you signed up for, and it's all part of the process. When you're playing, it feels great. When you're not playing, it doesn't feel great. So that's why you have to keep yourself very level-headed. Like, when things go your way, you can't get too ahead of yourself, because you can throw it away at any time. And then when things are not going your way, you need to stay ready, because you can get given a chance to be put in at any time, innit? So always got to keep things in perspective, man.
What would you say is the top trait for a goalkeeper? Is it, concentrating? Is it being alert? Is it, I don't know.
That's a good question, man. I'll break it down to 3 that I think, me personally, I think one of them is definitely concentration. One of them's decision making as well. And then I think another of them is like positioning. Because I think the best goalkeepers, when I look at the examples of the best goalkeepers in the world, they have all 3 in abundance. And where the best goalkeepers play for the best teams, they don't necessarily do the most work in terms of games and stuff. But where if you're playing for Man City, like Edison, or you're playing for Liverpool, like Alisson, you're not going to be working as much as if you're playing for someone like West Brom, like a Sam Johnston, or someone like what's the Sheffield United goalkeeper's name?
Ramsdale.
Yeah, you're not going to work as much as them. So where if it's a 0-0 game, and then say, for example, someone's coming through 1v1, your concentration's got to be on point. Your decision making has to be on point. Whether you make the save, you parry, whether and whether your communication is clear, and then also your positioning in terms of where you are in your goal. So like, whether you're checking your pose, whether you're set before the shot comes in. So I think those 3 are the 3 key elements, and that's why the best goalkeepers play for the best teams, because they make the best decisions in the critical situations, and their concentration is always higher. So yeah, that's what I think it is, man. I don't think there's a one universal thing I don't know, every other goalkeeper might say you something different. I think those 3 are more important and a bit more than the others, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Do you think goalkeepers get too much criticism in this day and age? For example, you look at when goalkeepers clear at the near post, it's all like, you can't get beat at your near post. But it's like, sometimes the ball goes mad quick, but it's like, you should never get beaten at your near post. Do you think it's over criticism on goalkeepers in this day and age?
Yeah, do you know what it is? Like, as a goalkeeper community, because we have these conversations a lot, I feel like goalkeepers are not represented a lot in the public eye. So, you know, when you watch like Sky Sports or BT Sports, most pundits are all ex-professionals, ex-players, yeah? Not many of them are goalkeepers. So if you've got a player commentating on what a goalkeeper does, it's always going to be from a player's perspective.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, very difficult for a player to give the basic fundamentals and knowledge to the wider audience of what a goalkeeper should do in a certain situation. So it's like, that's why I feel like more goalkeepers need to be represented more, so it gives more knowledge and more value to obviously the wider public and stuff. So like getting beat at your near post isn't always a goalkeeper's fault, because when balls are coming at 30 miles per hour, or I don't know how fast balls comes up, when balls are flying at you, like there's only so much you can do. At the end of the day, goalkeeping is your job is to make your job is to make the job harder for teams not to score against you. So like there is a lot of fabrication in terms of when I see stuff like goals expected or goalkeepers that keep clean sheets. Like it's a difficult one, because you could be someone like Jan Oblak that plays for Atletico Madrid, who are renowned to be defensively outstanding for years and years and years, and that I think Oblak is probably the one of the top three in terms of best goalkeepers in the world. But if you could put in another goalkeeper in Oblak's position at Atletico Madrid, they might do the same type of job because of the defense they have in front of them, because your defense contributes to how well you do as a goalkeeper as well. But then again, when you flip the script and you look at someone like Ramsdale at Sheffield United, where they're not doing well at the moment, they're conceding a lot of goals, and a lot of people might say, "Oh, he's a blah 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 goalkeeper because of how many goals he's conceding." But most of the goals might not even be his fault. It might be the players in front of him's fault. So it's like, I feel like goalkeepers need to represent the goalkeeping community from the top down, and then that's how things filter and stuff. Because if I'm a goalkeeper and I'm commentating on what a player does, it's gonna be hard for me to try and say a player should do this and that in certain situations. Like I see stuff like pundits saying, "Our goalkeepers, he's a good shot stopper," and it's like it's his job. But it's like if a goalkeeper said that a striker is a good finisher, it's his job. Like I feel like it doesn't always make sense, because at the end of the day, a goalkeeper, it is your job to keep the ball out of the net, but as a striker, it is your job to put the ball into the net. So why is it when strikers are given 5, 6, 7 chances and they miss, nobody says nothing, but when they score, they get all the headlines? But when a goalkeeper has 5, 6, 7 makes 5, 6, 7 saves, has a good game, but makes a mistake, then his rating goes from like a 7 to like a 3 or something. So it's fine lines of being a goalkeeper is what we signed up for. Is at the end of the day, and it's like, because if you concede a goal, if you make a mistake, it always ends up in a goal. Whereas with a striker, if you're trying to score and you miss, you're always one opportunity away from putting the next in. So there is a lot of like blurred in between the lines and flaws, but I think goalkeepers need to represent goalkeepers in the higher sort of community, so people can understand things a bit more.
I was just about to say, because when you look at, for example, the Arsenal second choice goalkeeper Renison in the Man City game, the mistake he made, like that's been highlighted so much. But like
so much, man,
the striker, like Aubameyang hasn't been scoring. It's been highlighted, but it's like it's taken long. I know Aubameyang's proven, but it's a thing where it's like if Aubameyang scores and misses 2, it's like, oh, he still scored. But keepers, you can't ever like get away from your mistakes.
Nah, man, you can never, man. And especially when you got social media and the internet now, everything is intensified. Like every single thing that you do is blown out of proportion. So it's like, that's the world we live in. Like, it's out of your control. You can only give it your best, man. And like when you go through mistakes as well, how you bounce back, how you use your character to make sure that you don't make the same mistake twice is what's going to help you in the long term, man.
Yeah, cool, man. That's brilliant. Now, next, we're going to go into the flex debate. And before, I asked you to tell me your top 3 Prem ever goalkeepers. So I'm going to give you mine, and you're going to give me yours. So who are your top 3 goalkeepers in order of all time?
In order, Petr Cech.
Number 1.
Peter Schmeichel. And I'm saying Edison at Man City. I was going to pick 3 old school type of goalkeepers, but I thought the first 2 that I picked, which was Cech and Schmeichel, are all old school related. And then I thought, let me pick a modern day goalkeeper that maybe the audience might be a bit more aware of. And
Yeah.
I had a decision between Alisson and Edison, because those are my two favourites, but I kind of went with Edison because of his longer range distribution, which I think is unreal. So I'm going with Edison as my third pick.
I went with Van der Sar as third, Seaman second, and I agree with you at Czech at number one. What do you think about that?
No, that's a strong pick. Van der Sar was one that I was thinking out of Van der Sar and Schmeichel, because Van der Sar was more in my generation than Schmeichel. Schmeichel was more of when I was younger, I only saw a bit of him before he retired, but I saw more Van der Sar in my generation growing up. But Van der Sar played until 40 as well. Another outstanding goalkeeper in his generation, and won the Champions League and stuff. And done outstanding for Man United, and also David Seaman as well, another legend. He played, I think until 39, 40 as well. Another legend that was outstanding in Arsenal's history, winning Premier League. So, yeah, I totally agree with your list. I think Petr Cech is up there with the best of the best, if not the best, because of what he's done and how far he went as well. So, yeah, I agree with it, man.
Because I was going to put Schmeichel, but I did some research on the keepers and I saw that he has no golden gloves. And I was surprised.
That's which was surprising. Yeah, for the amount of seasons he won, he done very, very well at that Manchester United side. Like, he's got no golden gloves, and that's the thing. Like, golden gloves is always down to the best defense you have, and that brings back the argument I had with the Oblak situation. Oblak's got a lot of clean sheets for the team that he plays for, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's the best goalkeeper, which he is. But there's a lot of, you'll see a lot of examples of teams and goalkeepers keeping a lot of clean sheets, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best goalkeeper in that division. So, yeah, that's one thing I know about Schmeichel. He didn't have no golden gloves, but he had a very big impact in Premier League history and Manchester United's history. So, yeah, I think me personally, I think he deserves that. But yeah, that's just my own personal opinion.
There's even more crazy stats. Like, I saw that Pepe Reina's got the best clean sheets to games ratio in the Prem at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was shocked as well. Like,
wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Also, David Seaman was considered the best goalkeeper for the decade 92 to 02. So that's why I also put him ahead of Schmeichel, because like Seaman and Schmeichel were in the same era.
Yeah. Fair enough. No, you've got some statistics that I wasn't even aware of. Like, I think maybe because the wider public have kind of maybe put Schmeichel on a bigger trajectory than Seaman. That might be why I might have aligned more with Schmeichel. And also, there's a lot of old school type of saves that Schmeichel used to do, like it's like the starfish type of save that De Gea does, and other type of brave saves that I think Schmeichel kind of aligns a bit more with myself than Seaman, if that makes sense, innit? So that's probably why Schmeichel was a bit more aggressive at times in terms of making saves and stuff. So that's probably, and I'm a bit like that at certain times as well. So that's probably why I kind of aligned more with him than Seaman. But Seaman was an outstanding goalkeeper.
And also, one other crazy thing I found out was that the joint most Golden Glove winners is Petr Cech with 4, but he's joint with Joe Hart.
Joe Hart, yeah, I had a feeling you were going to say that. Yeah, Joe Hart is another goalkeeper that's unfortunately gone under the radar because of the modern day type of goalkeeper now, where you have to be comfortable with the ball at your feet and stuff. And Joe Hart was from a generation where that wasn't required before, just like Petr Cech as well. So Joe Hart was a world-class goalkeeper in his days at Manchester City, and obviously he's still going a bit strong now at Spurs and stuff. But yeah, I used to model a bit of my game on his game as well when I was in secondary school as well, man.
Yeah, like Joe Hart's peak he was 30. His peak, like when he was just doing his thing at Man City, but then when Pep came, you saw Joe Hart.
It's weird because goalkeepers can play until 40, but they don't usually hit their peak until like 30s. Yeah, and I think Joe Hart hit his peak very, very early. Like Petr Cech, I think Petr Cech hit his peak early at Chelsea, but sustained it for a long time because of the era that he played in. He wasn't required to be a modern day goalkeeper. But with Joe Hart, he peaked very young, and then he played at a very high level at Man City. When Pep came in and everything shifted in terms of being a modern day goalkeeper, he didn't sustain it like a Petr Cech. So that was a bit unfortunate for him. And I still feel like he's had an outstanding career for what he's done and for where he's come from. He's come from Shrewsbury Town, I think when he started at Shrewsbury Town, they were in non-league, I think, or I think in the Conference Prem when he started. But he's
was
done
he there?
very well, man. Say that again.
Was he there from like academy level, like young?
Yeah, he was there from academy. He come through the academy and stuff. I think he played first team when he was like 17 and stuff, and then City bought him after that. So from where he's come from like the ground up, like he's done outstanding, man.
Yeah, 'cause I remember we went on to Birmingham. That's where he like made his name to claim.
Yeah. Oh shit! Someone called me. My bad. Hold on. Yeah. No. Yeah. I just put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. It's calm.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah. He made a name for himself at Birmingham because when he went on at Birmingham, that's when he done very well. Then when City started to bring the money in, he went back and displaced Shay Given, which at that time Shay Given was an outstanding goalkeeper. And he's obviously done well for City and for England as well until things change.
Cool. That was a good, interesting debate. Keepers. I was shocked to see like the stats. I was like, rah.
Mad, isn't it? It's actually mad.
But Czech's record is certified. Like when I talked about the clean sheet to the games ratio, he's second after Reina, and it's really close between them two. But the Reina thing, I was like, wow, because Reina didn't. Yeah. When you think of Reina, his career is very like kind of peak because he didn't win a Premier League at Liverpool. National team was competing with Casillas, which is just long,
long in it, long. So, and Reina as well I'm not gonna lie, back in the days, Reina was a modern day type of goalkeeper because he had very good distribution as well. He was a very good goalkeeper. It was just at the time that he was competing with like the Van der Sars, the Petr Cechs and stuff, where they were obviously doing better things. And I think Petr Cech kind of edges it because he's got that clean sheet record. He won things at Chelsea as well. That's what it's the career that you have and what you win as well is very, very important. So I think that's why Petr Cech probably edges it.
Yeah, cool. Next, we're gonna go on to flex your knowledge. Now, you told me you was a Chelsea boy, innit? So I'm gonna test that out. So I'm gonna ask you 5 questions, and then the 6th question is gonna be a big bonus question to get more points. So, question number 1: who's Chelsea's all-time top scorer? And you get a bonus point if you give me the exact number of goals.
Frank Lampard came into my head straight away. It's definitely Frank Lampard. But the amount of goals, I know he's third or fourth in the all-time Premier League list. And I was looking at this maybe a few weeks ago because I was having an argument with a friend saying like who's the best midfielder in Premier League history or our generation, and we was going through Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard, and Lampard had the best stats. I thought Gerrard was the best one, was up there with the best midfielders, but Lampard had the best stats. But the number that Lampard had, something like 172 is coming to my head, but I don't know if it's that. But I'm just going to say Lampard, 172 goals.
Oh, all comps for Chelsea, not just Prem, all comps.
Oh, all comps. I'll say 185, something like that.
You're off by like 20, 30. You got 211 for Chelsea.
Fucking hell. Yeah. But he was the all-time top scorer.
He's top all-time, that's right. All-time's right. But he's...
Okay.
That's a difficult
211. That's mad for midfielder. He's so underrated, man. So underrated, man.
Question 2. Who's got the most appearances for Chelsea? A bonus point if you give me the exact number.
The most appearances? Wow. Is it John Terry? I'm going with John Terry. I don't think it's John Terry, but I'm going to go with John Terry. It's probably somebody before my generation, I think. But I'm going to go with John Terry. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying... We're talking about all comps, yeah?
Yeah, all comps, bro.
How many appearances does John Terry make? I'm saying...
I'll give you a grace of... If you're within 10 each side, I'll give you the point.
I'm saying... 303.
Nah, it's wrong still. Both are wrong. It's not John Terry. It's a guy called Ron Harris. Ron Chopper Harris.
What era was that?
This guy's 50s, fam. This is old.
Oh, yeah. So that's and how many appearances did he make?
795.
Wow, man. That's crazy. What position did he play? Was he a striker or something?
I think he was a defender. Defender midfielder, yeah.
Defender. Okay, I didn't know that. I'm not going to lie, I didn't know that, to be fair.
Yeah, you might not know this one. It's a bit... I mean, you might know it. When did Chelsea win their first league title? So what year? And a bonus point if you could tell me the manager.
2004, Jose Mourinho. No, was it 2005 or 2004?
First ever league title, ever. league title.
2005. It was 2005. It was
Ever league
2005.
title.
Oh, ever.
Yeah, ever league title.
Oh, this was like 19. Was it 1958? I remember in 2005 they said it was 50 years before they won it. Is it 1958 or 1955? I'm going with 1955, yeah.
Okay. Manager?
Manager, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know the manager.
Yeah, I'm blaming you. But
is it 95?
55 is correct. 55 is correct.
Yeah, I knew. Because I remember in 2005 they were like, it was 50 years since we'd won our last Premier League before Mourinho come in.
Yeah. But
and who's the manager?
Manager was a guy called Ted Drake.
Okay, Ted Drake. Okay.
And number 4. This is a reasonable question. Who was Chelsea's top scorer in the Premier League last season, so 1920 season? And for bonus point, how many goals did he score?
It definitely wasn't Giroud. It was Tammy Abraham. I know it was Tammy Abraham. And I think, what strikers did we have last season? We had Tammy Abraham and Giroud. Yeah, it was Tammy Abraham. And I think in all comps,
just Prem. Yeah.
I know we had 15. I think it was 15 he had last season because someone was telling me this the other day. I'm gonna go with Tammy Abraham and 15. I think it is.
Both correct.
It's correct, isn't it? Yeah. I was speaking about this the other day with someone. I think in all comps, I think last season he got like 17 or 18. Yeah, I know he had 15 comps. Was it 18? Yeah.
18 all comps. Yeah.
I was speaking with someone about that because I was saying that Tammy Abraham's a bit underrated, man.
Yeah,
he's a good striker.
Yeah, 100.
But yeah, okay.
Question 5.
I've got 3 out of 4.
So far you've got, because I'm adding a bonus point included as well. So far you've got 2, 3, 4 out of 8.
Okay, cool.
8 potential points you could have got.
Cool. This is the bonus point now, yeah?
No. This is question 5. Then after that is the bonus question.
All right, cool.
So question number 5. How many times have Chelsea won the FA Cup? And for bonus point, give me 4 years that they won it.
FA Cup is like 8 or 9 times. Is it 8 or 9? I think it's 8. I'm gonna go with 8. I think it's 8. No, is it 9? Because I know we've won the League Cup quite a bit as well, but I don't know. I'm gonna go with FA Cup. I'm gonna change it to 9. And then the times we've won it, 2015, I think. 2017, 2013. Wait, I said 13, 15, 17. I'm trying to think of another year where we won it. We didn't win it last season. The season before, when we had Conte. No, he was our manager before Lampard. It was Conte. Was it Conte?
Sorry.
Yeah, it was Conte. Was it Sarri?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, Sarri was before Conte. Yeah, so I'm saying 13, 15, 17, and 18, I think.
Okay, so...
Is it wrong?
The first bit is wrong, yeah. You were so close. It's 8. You bet for 9.
Oh!
Yes, man, get up to it.
Oh!
And then the years you won it, you got 3 of them wrong. You got 1 correct.
So what was the years? What was the years that I got wrong?
17 is wrong. 15 is wrong.
18's right, innit?
18's right.
So what are the years? What's the last 4 years we've won it? Do you know?
You've won it. No, I just said 4. Any 4 years.
Oh, any 4, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I knew 18 was wrong because I remember you won it when Sarri was there, but the other ones I wasn't quite sure.
Yes,
but yeah.
In the 2000s, you won in 2000, 2007, 09, 010, 2012, and 2018. That's within this.
Oh, so we did win in 2012. Oh, I didn't, because I remember we won the Champions League in 2012.
Yeah.
But I didn't know whether I didn't think that we'd won it as well as the Champions League. So okay, it makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, okay. Now this is the bonus question. Now for this one, it's in 1 minute. Name me the 11 that started the 2012 Champions League final against Bayern Munich. If you get this right, you get 5 points.
Mad.
But hold on. Let me get my time out.
All right, cool. I think I'll probably name like 5 players or 6 players. But let's go.
Cool. And I'll tick you off once you get right. Okay. You can start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Petr Cech played in goal.
Yep.
I know Ryan Bertrand made his debut at left back.
Yep.
Who else played in that game? John Terry didn't play. I remember John Terry never played. Solomon Kalou played. Kalou played.
Yeah.
Malouda played as well. I think Drogba played. Lampard played.
Yep, Lampard.
We had a makeshift team. I can't remember who else played.
Yeah,
Boswinger played. I think Boswinger played right back.
Yeah, Boswinger, yep.
Who played centre half in that game, man?
You've got 6 so far.
Louise played as well.
Yeah, David Luiz, yep.
Cahill played.
Yep, Gary Cahill, yep.
He played in midfield with Lampard.
8.
Did Essien play? Mata played. I remember Mata played.
Yeah, Mata played. 10 seconds left.
Who played next to Lampard?
Few more.
Essien?
No.
Oh, I can't remember, man.
Oh, time done. I can't believe you forgot my man. You forgot Ashley Cole.
Oh, shit. Ashley Cole played as well. Oh, yeah. Because Ashley Cole played left back. And Bertrand played left mid. Oh, yeah. I completely forgot.
Ashley Cole and you forgot John Obi McKell.
Oh, McKell played. Okay. So those are the 2 I missed, yeah?
Yeah, you missed those 2.
So that means I got 9 then?
Yeah, you
Did I
got
get 9?
Yeah, 9 out of 11, which is good.
I got more than 40. I completely forgot. Okay.
Solid. So...
No, that was a decent questions, man. Trusted my knowledge, man.
Yeah. You didn't get the bonus, unfortunately, the 5 bonus points. So, I should make it like you should get at least half. I'll decide in it. But for now, out of a potential, let me count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, about 15. You got 4. The questions were difficult.
What did the other boys get?
Oh, this is the first time I'm doing it, you know. I should have done
the first time. Okay. Fair enough.
Put the benchmark.
Good. I can't lie. It was good. You tested my knowledge. I can't lie.
Yeah. And then just to finally end up with listeners' questions. Just like, what's the favorite game you've been involved in as a goalkeeper?
In my life, yeah. Oh, that's a good question. There's a lot I've been involved in, man. Favorite game I've ever been involved in? That's a good question, man. Probably when I was in school, in a school match. It was like a school cup final in year 11. We played against another school and we drew 2-2. And imagine in the game, I had to take a penalty because in the game, our striker went off injured. And then in the game, I took my penalty and I scored it. And then it went to a penalty shootout. And then a fight broke out, so the game got abandoned. But like the experience itself of like the whole game was just crazy. Like I think that's probably one of my favorite games I've been involved because I scored a penalty, had a good game, and then unfortunately the game got called off. But yeah, I'll probably say that's probably one of my favorite games I've been involved in.
Who's the most influential person or coach in your life? And what was the best bit of advice they gave to you?
That's a good question. Probably when I was at Broadwater Farm, I played for Broadwater Farm when I was in year 10, when I was about 14, 15. And my manager was Classford, a guy called Classford, that was my manager. And he said to me, in this life, like you have to achieve what you want to achieve. You have to keep working hard to sustain it. And back then, I didn't take that advice and I thought it was just him just lecturing me and stuff. But when I kind of correlate it to my life now, that's something that I kind of implement every single day. But at the time, I wasn't doing that at the time. But that's probably one of the best advice I've ever received.
What's your ultimate five-a-side team?
Ooh, that's a good question. Buffon in goal.
Buffon.
I'm having Messi and Ronaldo in that team as well.
Oh, this guy's throwing it out. Messi and Ronaldo.
And 2 more positions. Who's my favorite defender ever? Favorite defender. Do you know who I liked a lot? I liked Cannavaro. I think he's the only defender to won the Ballon d'Or as a defender. He was the defender for Italy. He won the World Cup and stuff. I liked Cannavaro, so I'm going to put Cannavaro in. He's probably not one of the best ever, but I like Cannavaro.
No,
And then midfield that I liked as well was he's out of Iniesta and Xavi. I'll probably go with Iniesta. I think Xavi was one of the best passers of his generation, but I liked Iniesta because he had a bit of passing and then he had a bit of inventory to his game as well and stuff. He was very, very flary. So I'm saying Buffon, Cannavaro, Iniesta, and then Messi and Ronaldo for me are the best two from what I've seen in football. So yeah, that's my 5-a-side team, man.
That's a solid team still. Still the Messi Ronaldo thing, I'm a bit like, you can't be, I'll allow. Which goalkeeper now do you look at or do you model yourself want to think, I want to be like him, like he saves good, he kicks well, the way he plays and goal commands his box, etc.
It's out of Edison and Alisson because I think they're both very, very similar and they're both very, very good. But I think Edison's long range, like 70, 80 yard like pings I don't think any other goalkeeper in the world has that range of passing that he has. So I think in inverted commas, Alisson's a little bit better because overall he has a bit more to his game. But I think the goalkeeper I kind of model my game towards is a bit more towards Edison. So I'll probably say Edison's I like Edison a bit more than Alisson. Even though I think Alisson's a little bit better, I think Edison at Manchester City is the one that I kind of pay a close attention to at the moment.
Okay, cool. Couple more questions. This is a good one I always ask. Would you rather be a great player, but you have a trash legacy, like you're known for just doing badness, or a good player, but no one remembers you? It's a thing where it's like, oh, this guy played for us. Well, yeah, he was a decent player, he was good, but...
I don't know, but because of the way I am and where I like to set an example and stuff, I would probably align more with the one that no one remembers me because like me at the end of the day, like I don't really care about what people think of me in inverted commas. So it's like if no one remembers me, no one remembers me. As long as I've given it my best to have the best possible career I could possibly have, that's all I care about. And I think legacy is important. A legacy is what everyone remembers. So when you're gone in 100 years' time, that's what everybody kind of remembers you from. But it's like I wouldn't want to be remembered as somebody that was known for the wrong reason. So I'll probably align with good player, no one remembered, because I still done my thing on the pitch. At the end of the day, whether you remember or not, I couldn't really care. Like as long as I did what I needed to do, that's all I care about at the end of the day. So I'll probably say that.
Right, hey, you're the first person to say that,
Swear.
Yeah, Terrell was like, I'm trying to be remembered still. I'm trying to be known.
What, even for the wrong reasons, yeah?
Yeah, and Bevis, my friend cousin Bevis plays Marvel. They were saying there's no such thing as bad publicity.
That's true though, because like someone was like to me, like any publicity is good publicity, but it's like at the end of the day, like the next generation coming through, when we look at examples of players that have gone off the rails and stuff, would they look at them players and say that I want to be like him? No, they won't. They will look at maybe what they've done in their career, but they wouldn't want to model themselves and follow that influence. That's what I think anyways. And I think it might be perception. That my perception might just be different than everyone else's, but I'd rather not be remembered than to be remembered for the wrong reasons. That's what I would rather do. I'm not going to lie.
So would you like to be, if you're going to be remembered, you want it to be a positive role model in a sense?
Yeah. That set an example, that open doors for other people to come through and stuff. Like that's pretty much what it is. Like especially me as a black goalkeeper as well, where there's not many of us. I like to open doors for the next generation coming through, and like in 50 years' time, there's no stigma attached with black goalkeepers and kids growing up not wanting to not be a black goalkeeper, but wanting to not just be a goalkeeper. Because like kids growing up, most of them want to be strikers and forwards and stuff, but kids growing up wanting to actually be goalkeepers and seeing examples out there of successful goalkeepers of my ethnicity. So that's pretty much what I think I think that's the purpose that God's given me, and that's pretty much what I kind of connect with, man.
That's a good point, I should have touched on that, like being a black goalkeeper, because when I think of goalkeepers who are black, it's only a handful. Like I could, off the top of my head, I think of Jordan Archer, Onana,
Mendy actually.
He just comes.
Mandanda as well, that used to be at Palace, he's now in Marseille. There's not many, like, at the end of the day, obviously, we have to start from somewhere, innit? And it's just an unfortunate thing in our generation, there's just a negative stigma attached, but maybe in 100 years' time, that will be gone. So, like, it's just like any other walk of life, like, anything that people do, like, I'll give you a random example, guys being short. I don't know why, but just in our generation, if you're short as a guy, it's just a negative stigma. I don't know why, but maybe in 100 years' time, things could change, the tables turn. So, like, it's just like me being as a goalkeeper is just something that I've just had people judge me before they even see me play, and after they see me play, perceptions changed and stuff. But it's just something that I just haven't been able to control. But what I can control is how I set that example and do my thing and try and have the best possible career possible, so it opens doors for the next ones coming in, so that when they come through, they don't have to go through what I've gone through, if that makes sense. So, yeah, man.
That's a good point, because there's the black perception about if you're black and you're like a baller, you should automatically be strong and be fast. Like, you're black, you should have, like, every time you look at you think, oh, there's pace and there's power, never
athletic,
technical.
Athletic. That's the words that come straight away. So that's another thing. I saw a post about it on Instagram. Rising Ballers posted that. They were like, someone put on Twitter, basically they reposted someone's tweet on Twitter. Someone put on Twitter a team of black players only, and then a team of white players only. And then the team of black players only, they put athletic, strong, pacey, fast. And then on the white team, they put technical, vision, awareness. And it's like, and then the tweet was like, oh, why is it in the footballing system that when it comes to white players, they're labelled with these connotations, and then when it comes to black players, they're labelled with these connotations, and society takes it and then does the same thing. And it's like, yeah, that's true. Like, it's weird. Like, when you I'll give you an example, someone like Lukaku, instantly in your head, you think straight away, strong, pacey, fast, athletic. And then someone like Mesut Ozil, or someone like a Mason Mount, technically gifted, awareness, comfortable at the ball. It's a weird one. So that's just the life that we live in. But maybe in years to come, tables turn and perception changes, man.
You know, literally, like when Kante came, these man were saying pace and that's not even Kante's game. The way they were comparing the guys, his game was not on the pace and power. It's
like
intelligence, positioning.
Yeah, man. Like, just determination. Like, Kante is like a grafter. Like, Kante is and technically as well, he's actually all right as well. Like, he's not bad. Like, it's not like he's bad, like, from what I've seen from Kante anyway. So, yeah, like, it's like, hopefully the generation coming through can change perceptions, man.
What's your ambitions for the future?
So, my ambition is to, short-term ambition is to make my professional debut at Harrogate Town, and then stay in the Football League and play as high as possible. No, that short-term ambition, what am I saying? Short-term ambition is to make my debut for Harrogate Town, and then to stay in the team and earn that opportunity. And then long-term ambition is to I got a bit of interest from the national side of my heritage, Ghana, so to get called up by Ghana, represent them in tournaments to come, and then also to play as high as I possibly can in terms of the footballing ladder for as long as I can up into my 40s. So that's what it is for me as a goalkeeper. It's a process, and the journey is a bit more longer. And yeah, it's got to keep working hard, man.
Since you're going, I have to bring it up, but Asamoah Gyan. Wow, go on.
Where you from, by the way?
I'm from Uganda, so I can't really chat about RT.
Yeah.
Can I bring up still? You're doing RT.
Yeah. No, Asamoah Gyan, yeah, man. Asamoah Gyan's he is a legend in Ghanaian football, and he's done very, very well. Like, he played in the Premier League at least. He scored in the World Cup and stuff. Like, he has done his thing as well. Like, at the same time, he has been part of our painful moments as well. So that's like life, man. Life's full of up and downs, and you have to take the highs with the lows, man.
I think that it's not as similar to the question I asked, but it's kind of similar, because Jan's only remembered for that penalty miss. That's
the thing, like.
Would you rather remember for that, or because that's not really a tarnish, but it's kind of a negative, isn't it?
Yeah. It's an unfortunate thing, man, because I think because of how critical that stage was, where if we had won that game, we would have been the first African side to go to the semi-finals. So just all of that sort of perception might be why he's remembered for that. But when you look at Jan's career from a perspective, like he's done his thing for Ghana. Like I think he was part of the Ghanaian side that went to the first World Cup in 2006, scored at the World Cup, played for Sunderland in the Premier League. Like he's done his thing. Like I've got a lot of respect to him. I don't remember him for the negative moments. I remember him for the example that he set and the barriers that he kind of overcome to what he's done. Like, so he come from literally nowhere to do his thing and then played in the Premier League. So he's played at the highest level possible and he's done his thing. It's just unfortunate that at the time where we had the opportunity to make history, he couldn't actually do it. So it's part of life, man.
I hear that. And just a final question: what advice would you give to young ballers growing up, young goalkeepers?
The advice I always give, 3 pieces of advice I always give: you have to believe in yourself, man. Football is it is based on opinions. Like, you go to one club, you might not get given an opportunity. You go to a better club and you get given an opportunity. There's many examples of that. So you need to believe in yourself, no matter what anyone says. Like, I feel like nobody should be your biggest supporter more than yourself. You should want it more for yourself than anybody should want it for you, if that makes sense. Like, you can't want it for someone more than they want it for themselves. You can't help somebody more than they want to help themselves. So you got to believe in yourself wholeheartedly and have faith in your ability. And then you need to outwork everyone. Like, you can't just work hard. Like, you need to outwork everyone. Like, I feel like doing enough is not enough anymore. And people like Cristiano Ronaldo's and etc. have shown that example of you have to do more than what you do at football or on the training ground or on a match day. Like, you have to. There was a quote that somebody said was, good players work hard, but the great players outwork everyone else in front of nobody. So what you're doing behind the scenes when nobody's watching and it's just you and just the world, that's what will determine how far you go in it. So you have to outwork it. Depending on your ambitions in life, that's just my own advice. I would say you have to outwork everyone. So got to believe in yourself. You need to outwork everyone. And then I feel like stats is a very big thing in football now. When you look at the Ronaldos and the Messis and the standards that they've set for that the last 15 years plus, you need results. So, like, if you're a goalkeeper, as I always say, you need to be performing well. And when you're performing well, that contributes to like clean sheets, winning, etc. And that's what people kind of pay more attention to. If you're a striker, strikers are ultimately judged on goals. You can be a very good striker, but if you're not a goal scorer, you're only going to go to a certain type of ceiling. So results, like stats, are very, very important. Like, you need to grind, you need to execute, you need to make sure you have the results to back up your forte, man. So that's what I'll say. Believe in yourself, outwork everyone around you, results, man. So that's what I'll say, man.
Oh, great advice to end on, Melvin. And thanks for coming on. It's been a power-packed episode.
No, respect, man.
Good
I really
fun.
appreciate it, man.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed. And by the grace, Harrogate Town, your number one keeper is coming. By the grace,
in God's name, man. In God's name, gotta keep grinding, man.
I hear that, man. So keep working hard, stay safe during COVID.
You as well.